Commanders. Obviously, they were awesome last year. Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury was an incredible OC. Now, he did get some looks from other teams, but he has declined. He's going to stay in Washington, obviously. Second-year head coach Dan Quinn said the ability to retain Kingsbury and defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. gives Washington peace of mind entering the season. Continuity, huge in the NFL. For all the elite teams, you know, with the exception of Jalen Hurts, obviously losing his OC every year, you can look, when you return both coordinators and the head coach and the quarterback, you know, things historically have gone well. And I think Washington is going to be real good this year. Hot take.
I don't think, you know, it's this division. If you go look in the last 20 years, you get a different division winner, it feels like, every year. I would not be shocked if Washington won the division. I think they have the better head coach and the better quarterback. And if Terry McLaurin's playing with Debo, that's a pretty solid receiving core. You know, I don't buy into year two he's going to struggle. I just think he's such an exceptional. There are players, you know, people point to C.J. Stroud. C.J.'s not this good. This is Andrew Luck without the mistakes. And Andrew Luck didn't have a bad second year. Like I think we're looking at a historically good player.
Now, just to be fair, some of the guys were digging into the fourth down numbers, and apparently Jaden Daniels and Washington were the best fourth down team in the league in something like the last 18 years. I don't have the exact number, but like that's not, you can't duplicate that. Similar to 11-0 in one-score games.
What's their schedule look like?
The Washington schedule? Well, I know they got a lot of primetime games because Daniels is bank, everybody wants to see him. But they open up with a cupcake. Now
okay, so look at that. I get Raiders, Atlanta, Giants early.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Atlanta is Atlanta and Washington are like kind of even teams, Colin. It was a close game last year.
There is a lot of wins on that schedule.
Where? Giants? Raiders?
Okay, let me. Okay, Jaden Daniels has clearly established himself as an elite quarterback. Here's the quarterbacks he's going to face in order: Russell Wilson, Jordan Love, Geno Smith, Michael Penix, Herbert, Caleb, Dak. There's some wins there. There's some.
10? By the way, 10 or 9?
Yeah, I would go 10 plus. There's a lot of wins there. I think that's a 12-win team.
Eagles twice in the final 3 weeks does not seem fun, including outdoors in January.
There's such a good chance that Week 18 game will mean nothing for at least one of those teams. So it's like, as soon as they released the schedule and I saw that the Eagles and the Commanders play 16 and 18, I was really irked by that. Honestly, that annoyed me. I'm not going to go through the schedule right now because, quite frankly, who cares? But what Dan Quinn is saying here is, because that's what the real story is the returning both coordinators brings peace of mind in year two. Like, absolutely. Like, this is the drum that I keep banging on relentlessly. And that's why I kept saying, like, bringing, having Cliff Kingsbury here in year two is massive. Not as important on the defense side of the ball because of Dan Quinn, obviously being on the defense side, and it's definitely going to be more of his defense than anything else. And the coordinator is really just going to be there more to kind of execute the vision of Dan Quinn more than anything. But I'm of the camp that Cliff Kingsbury will be gone sooner rather than later, whether it's year 3, who knows exactly when, but the more and more success and the greater that Jaden Daniels and the Commanders have play and win, Cliff Kingsbury will undeniably get a head coaching job, and make no mistake about it, he wants to be a head coach and he will take it. Like that is how the NFL works. That is how it works. I mean, he could literally be the new head coach of the New York Giants, and that's not some job that you just like say, oh, okay, I'll turn it down. Or he could be the coach of Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Like there could be real movement happening, and it's literal offers you can't refuse. And so that's why I'm all about maximizing year two and really taking advantage of the connection that Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury have together, because you don't know what that new coordinator, who it will be and what they will bring, and any of the type of issues that they may or may not have. And that's why Dan Quinn is saying it brings me a peace of mind. Like, it's something that I don't have to worry about now. It's something that I can fundamentally trust. Like Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury really were together. You saw it on the sidelines. Like they were like essentially like co-coaches in a lot of ways. I mean, like they really were, and it was awesome to see, and it worked incredibly well. And it's just to be able to bring that back into year 2, especially when you're adding new pieces like a Debo, that means something. But I did have this aha moment as well, and I said this in a previous video about a different team. I forget which team now. But one of my big prevailing things. So there's 2 points that I want to make sure that I emphasize, because they brought up like the whole 4th down being historic and all of that, and just the same thing, how you're not going to be able to go 11-0 in 1-score games, and et cetera, et cetera. And I do believe that. I think that's fair. You know, you're not, even if you're exceptional at something, doesn't mean that you're going to continue to be historically great year after year after year after year. It's just not how it works, right? Steph Curry does not make every single three he shoots. But with that said, is the whole idea is that you're not going to be in that many situations, and your team and your offense is not going to be reliant as much as they were last year on converting the volume of 4th downs and going for it as frequently as they did, right? Like that's the whole idea, that you're not going to have to now rely on that. If this was pretty much the exact same team, and Jaden Daniels and company, right, like they're 4 or 5 years into their career, and now it's pretty much the exact same team from year 4 into year 5, then like, to me, that criticism or that concern holds infinitely more weight. But now you're talking about an improved offense, year 2 with your superstar rookie quarterback, right? And year 2 of continuity with Cliff Kingsbury. It's like, okay. Which then leads me to the defense, because before the draft, before any of this really happened, we were just kind of still unpacking, what the future is for the Commanders. Like I kept saying, like, Dan Quinn has proven with multiple franchises to build unbelievably great defenses. That it's going to take him a year or 2 to build that defense and be able to actually do the vision that he has for this defense. And when he was able to put that into practice, it's like you give Jaden Daniels a weapon or 2 and and a great defense. It's just like, yeah, it's going to be brutal to beat that team. I'm not going to tell you that you're going to win every single game, that you're going to win Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl, but like, good luck. Especially if you're going to rely on Jaden Daniels to do less, right? That is the ultimate goal, to win while asking your quarterback to do less. That is the ultimate goal. The more that your quarterback can be a game manager, the better your team is going to be. And especially when you're asking your superstar quarterback, who can obviously do anything you need him to do at any given moment, when you're asking him to just manage the game, you're in a good situation. And I kind of had this aha moment that recently, over these last few years, we've seen a lot of defenses in a snap of the fingers be pretty great pretty quickly. And if there is a chance that this Commanders defense is able to just really make a pretty large step forward defensively with the mind of Dan Quinn, that changes everything. That absolutely positively changes everything for this Commanders team. And we do not see a kind of similar kind of repeat of what we saw last year, or kind of like they'll be pretty good and they'll be competitive. I see some wins there. Like, no, they have the potential to be dominant. To me, that'll be the difference. If Dan Quinn actually now is able to turn this defense around and make them into a top 5 defense, it's kind of an arbitrary number, but we'll just say top 5, then this Commanders team has the potential to be dominant. If not, if it's kind of a little bit similar to what they saw last year, maybe a little bit better, then yeah, we'll get it. We'll still continue to get a little bit of everything. I think we'll still see a better offense as long as Terry McLaurin's there, and you'll still, it'll be football, right? It'll be a typical season. It'll be, what we've seen the Ravens and the Bills and whatnot have. It won't be kind of this like feeling of like, okay, this is a juggernaut. Who the heck is going to be able to stop this team? But if you have Terry McLaurin, if you have Debo, Jaden Daniels doesn't go through a sophomore slump, which don't even get me started on that, and Dan Quinn gets this defense to a top 5 defense, then this team will enter what's at stake for them is like legitimate dominance. And enough of the pieces, especially offensively, are actually going to be experienced. The Zach Ertzes, the Debos, Terry McLaurin, like the run game, like it'll actually there's experience there. So it's not like, oh, this is a young team, or they've never really played in a big game before. Like Ertz has won a Super Bowl. Debo has been to multiple Super Bowls, I believe. Definitely at least one, but I'm pretty positive multiple. Like there's true experience there now. Dan Quinn has coached in a Super Bowl, which matters. Like that, like having this level of experience, it matters. So you're what's at stake is potentially skipping a couple steps here. And that's to me is what's fascinating. I think you leapfrog then some of these teams where you're like, how good are they going to be? I don't know. Maybe yes, no, maybe. Like you can leapfrog a team like the Lions. The Rams having a little bit of banged up with Stafford. Nah, we leapfrogged you. I mean, you were already ahead of them to begin with, but you solidified. 49ers, you were a little bit banged up last year. That's real cute. You think that you're going to return to form and now beat us? Nope. Goodbye. That was great. You had a few years where you were going to Super Bowl and stuff like that. Nope. Goodbye. Eagles, I think it'll be competitive because obviously that team is still very well built. But it will obviously be a lot more competitive, like significantly more competitive. And then the Commanders just enter the equation of just being one of the top teams that we always talk about. The Eagles, the Bills, the Ravens, the Chiefs. But right now, that to me, that is not on the shoulders of Jaden Daniels just being spectacular. I do not put that on the shoulders of Jaden Daniels. I put that on the Commanders' ability to round out this team. To have enough games, a handful of enough games where the Commanders' defense just shuts them down. Oh, you're playing the Chargers week 5? Well, the Commanders only gave up 12 points. Something weird. Like they gave up 12 points with a blocked field goal and 2 turnovers. Right? Like that's the level of defense. Not just, the Cowboys didn't score any point. They scored 3 points. Like, wow, congrats. Like make it hard for Justin Herbert, for Patrick Mahomes, for Jalen Hurts, right? You're going up against a young quarterback, Michael Penix. Show me why he is a young quarterback. Show me why this will only be his, 6th game or whatever in the NFL. Show me why. Show me why Russell Wilson is past his prime, right? Like that. Those are the statements that I'm like, Bo Nix has been playing great in the first, 12 weeks, and the Broncos have a ton of momentum. Slow them down. Create a team where it's not like, all right, the way the Commanders are going to win is Jaden's going to have to hang 42, right? If they can do that, which is what we saw the Eagles do, right? Against when they played the Baltimore Ravens, against Lamar, when they played, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs, it's like, that is the difference. I pointed that out months ago, where you saw the Eagles play the Ravens, and you saw the Commanders play the Ravens, and it was just like, what really made the difference wasn't like, let's enhance the offense. It was like, one defense was able to slow the other team down a lot more. And it makes things easier. So, yeah. We're talking about winning maybe 9 wins or so. Like, it's interesting to me. This will be my last statement. And now J-Mac's backtracking a little bit, and he's admitted it, so, credit to him. But he was like, I think the Vikings are going to be in the NFC Championship game. He was talking about J.J. McCarthy, kind of comparing him to Josh Allen or something. I forget exactly, but he made some incredibly strong statements about the Minnesota Vikings. And he's now kind of like, I don't know. He said earlier in the show, he's like, I don't know if I believe that as much anymore now. I might have gotten a little too high on the Vikings in the summer. And it's just interesting to me that you would have that level of confidence with the Minnesota Vikings with J.J. McCarthy, who's unproven, but then kind of question, can the Commanders win? Will they win 9 games, 10 games? It's like, well, wait a second here. Multiple things can be true. It's like, well, you can believe in the Vikings, I guess. That's fine. But on a degree of confidence, you have more confidence that a 22-year-old first-year starter in J.J. McCarthy coming off an injury will be able to lead that team to the NFC Championship game. And Jaden Daniels had the greatest rookie year we've ever seen, who's already elite. I consider him already elite. And I do not use that word lightly. You're questioning if they're going to maybe win like 9 games, 10 games? Like, it's like, what? How does that make sense? At first, when they were asking like 9 wins, I was like, but did he mean like just like in the first 9 weeks or something? I'm like, no, they're obviously, he's not talking about going 9-0. But then I realized like, oh. Because, like, listen, it's hard to predict how some of these games are going to go. I do think the Falcons will be a lot better, and I'm not going through the whole schedule now. But, like, the Packers, like, the Chiefs, like, it's football, man. It's football. It's unpredictable. But you got to go to Madrid against the Dolphins. I didn't even realize that. In week 11. But then it's nice you have the bye. Then you have the Broncos at home. So that'd be nice. But, yeah. We're close, people. We're close. 3 more weeks. I think 4 more weekends. Football's back. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Washington Commanders? The great benefit that they have of having their coordinators returning. Their potential at winning the division, like Colin just kind of casually threw out there, being a Super Bowl contender, or the potential of them winning 9-10 games or around that, I guess, according to J-Mac. A little confused. But let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.